Hello, hi. How you doing, guys? Sorry about the delay in today's video. Starting a bit later than I anticipated. I had an awesome morning, but things got a little switched up, so that's why I'm a little bit late for today's session to help you be happier at work. That's what we're going to talk about today. So all week long, we've been diving into the science and the spiritual behind the slouch. Hi, Mickey. Thank you for being here. Awesome. So today we're going to be talking about how we can be happier at work, right? We all want to feel happy, of course, and happiness and joy is one of the natural states of the heart, right? So if you like that, if that makes sense to you, give me a heart in the comments. And if you are here live, please let me know that you're here. And then if you're watching the replay, please let me know that you're watching the replay by doing #replay. Sorry, I just gotta lift my seat up a little bit. Oh, thank you, awesome. So all week long, we've been talking about the science behind the slouch. So we all spend a lot of time sitting down and probably slouched over and looking at the impact that it's having on us. So we were talking about our circulation, our blood flow throughout our body. We're talking about how it affects our breathing. We're talking about how it impacts our stress level and can increase stress. But did you know that posture, specifically slouching, has a really significant impact on your mood? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And it's been a really great week, and I'm super excited to be sharing these tools. Mickey says that she's here and she's ready to learn. Woohoo! Awesome. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the slouch and how it makes us feel emotionally. So, and of course, it makes sense that our body and mind are constantly in communication with each other, right? So there's information that goes from the heart to the brain. We learned about that on Wednesday, and if you missed that, no problem. I'm going to be going deeper into that in our training on Monday, and that we're going to talk about more of the rhythm of the heart affecting the rhythm of the brain, affecting our stress levels. Super cool. Awesome. Debbie's here as well. So we were talking about the information going from the heart to the brain on Wednesday, and today we're going to be talking about how there's information that's constantly communicated from your body up to your mind and vice versa, right? So your emotional state affects your posture, and your posture affects your emotional state. So let me prove this to you. If we were feeling really happy and you just got the best news in the world, what does your posture look like? So are you like upright and you're excited and you really want to share, or are you like this? Are you kind of slouched over? Or if you were to, how would you express it if I asked you, what does somebody look like when they're tired? So maybe drop a couple words in the comments. When somebody's tired, what do they look like? They kind of look a little bit slumped over. They look wilted. Shoulders are rolling forward. They're just kind of there. You can see in their body language that they are tired, and you don't even have to ask them. Sometimes you can just make a guess. And so our body language communicates a lot of information to other people. So when we see somebody's body language, 80% of our communication is actually nonverbal. So that's pretty interesting, right? So we can look at somebody's body language and it communicates a lot of information to us. A lot of that, sometimes we make up stories about based on what we're seeing. So Debbie said that somebody's tired, they look unmotivated, right? And that makes sense. So if somebody is in a posture, just gonna check on the comments. Oh yeah, and blah. Yeah, blah, that's a good word. I always think of Eeyore. Remember Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh? He was always just kind of like, meh, 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 and he had that sort of slow moving energy to him. So if, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So we were talking about posture and body language. Yes, okay, awesome. So we get a lot of information about people's emotional state based on their body language. So here's the interesting thing, is that your brain actually gets a lot of information based on the way that you're holding yourself. So when we are in what's called a power pose, so a power pose is any pose that's really upright and extended. So it's that big yes, like if we won, we crossed the finish line and we're like, woohoo, and there's celebratory position. Or a power pose is somebody's very confident and upright and kind of that Wonder Woman pose. That's a power pose. So when we're in those power poses, we're more likely to feel we're in that power posture, we're more likely to feel confident and optimistic and energized and inspired, and we're very approachable. And so that power pose is really important, because when we're in that position, there's a change that happens in our brain. So when we're in that power pose, actually testosterone levels go up. So testosterone is motivation and drive hormone, and cortisol levels go down. So cortisol is one of the main stress hormones. So we have testosterone going up and cortisol levels coming down when we're in that open, energized, powerful position. So that's really important to consider, because if you're going into a meeting, or if you're about to do a presentation, or they did research on this when people were about to do a job interview, if they were holding a power pose for only 2 minutes, there's amazing shifts in the brain chemistry. So the chemistry of your body is determined by the different hormones and how they're released. So if there's a change and we have more testosterone, less cortisol, we're more driven and we're less stressed. So here's the interesting thing, is that, so that's the upright, empowered pose. So the opposite is true. If someone is in a weaker pose, if they are in that sort of rounded position, if they're slouched over or they're tired, what sort of information does that communicate to you? You look at them and you're like, oh, something's wrong. Like, are they tired? What's going on? So that's the interesting thing, is that when we're in that sort of position, when we're in that sort of slouched over, rounded position, the research shows us that it's harder for us to access those feelings of motivation and optimism and energy. When we're in that rounded or slouched or folded or collapsed position, we're more likely to feel tired. We're more likely to feel negative feelings. We're more likely to feel lack of motivation. We're more likely to feel hopeless or just flatlined. And so when we are in those rounded or collapsed positions, it changes our emotional state. Your body sends information up to your brain. It's called embodied cognition. It's getting information from the brain to the body. So when we're in that rounded or slouched position, we're more likely to feel tired and sad and bored. So that's very interesting to remember, because if the opposite is true, if we're upright and feeling good and we're feeling energized, inspired, but if we're in this collapsed position, then we start to feel a drop in our energy levels. We start to feel a little bit less motivated. We start to feel less optimistic, more hopeless. So that's important for us to remember, because that collapsed position is one that we spend a lot of time in when we're slouched. So when we're slouched over the keyboard or in that rounded or collapsed position, it actually sends a signal to the brain that, whether you feel like this or not, it starts to send the signal to the brain, because your body is in that position. It signals to the brain, okay, well, I'm not breathing very well. I'm having short and shallow breaths, which we talked about on last Friday. When we're in that rounded and collapsed position, it causes your body to only be able to take short and shallow breaths, which triggers stress. So your body is like, okay, well, we're in this very disempowered position. I'm slouching, I'm taking short, shallow breaths. It triggers stress in your body, and it triggers a negative emotional state, because we're lacking that level of oxygen. We're starting to feel that sort of like defeated position in the body, even though you don't necessarily feel that in your mind emotionally, but it can cause that. It can cause that with people that are more likely to experience feelings of anxiety or depression. Their risk of feeling those feelings and the likelihood of feeling those feelings goes up significantly if we're in this rounded, collapsed position. Because think about it, like if you spend a lot of time in this position, your body is like, okay, well, something's wrong, and it's getting that energetic message, that message from your physical body up to your brain. So they're doing a lot of research about this, and they're realizing that because we spend significant portions of our day in what they call a collapsed position, which is slouch, the likelihood of us feeling this way is going up. The rates of depression have risen significantly in the last 5 years, and are starting to get higher in children that are spending more and more time like this, because we're not moving into those powerful positions as frequently, and we're holding our body in this rounded and collapsed position. So that's really important. Whether you struggle with depression or not, it's very important for us to remember that our body has an impact on our mental state, or the state of our heart, right? So that's where we feel emotions. So our body has an impact on our physical, the feelings of pain, tension, headaches, eye strain, all that comes from the slouch position, which we all probably know way too well. But we have the opportunity to change our emotional state by opening through the chest, so moving out of that rounded collapsed position into a more upright position, so what they call a power pose. So that extension, so sitting tall, walking tall, standing tall, it stimulates that cascade of hormones that, testosterone goes up, cortisol level goes down, but we're also allowing our body to come back into that natural steady rhythm of the breath. We're able to breathe more deeply. We're feeling more energized. We're able to access higher levels of emotions. We're able to access like higher levels of feeling. And that's really important because, so going back, they're finding that they're looking at people that are slouched, and then if their posture is constantly collapsed, they're considering that to be a risk factor for depression. So that's really interesting. And the rates of depression are 48% higher in women who sit for 6 or more hours every day. That's pretty significant. 48% higher in women that sit for 6+ hours. So they're attributing that a lot to the collapsed position that we're in. So if you think of it from the physical perspective, our energy levels are going down, our tension levels are going up, our stress levels are going up. It's harder for us to breathe properly. It's affecting our physical organ of the heart. But if you look at it from the energetic perspective, if you are in that rounded and collapsed position, so see how my shoulders are rolling forward, and there's a collapse across the heart space. So a collapse across the heart chakra, if you will. So when we have a blockage in the heart chakra, that's when we start to have the difficulty with our emotional state. We start to feel lethargic. We start to feel unmotivated and just kind of flat, emotionally flat. Dysthymia is the word for that. So emotionally flat, starting to feel more anxiety, starting to feel more sadness and heavy emotions. And so that's really interesting to look at how the impact of the physical posture that we're in can cause that if we're in that slouch position, or if we're kind of feeling unmotivated, we're feeling uninspired, and we move into that position, it just constantly, your body is constantly sending information back and forth. So it's really important for us to realize, I think, that regardless of whether you struggle with depression or not, it's really important for us to be constantly moving into strong alignment. That's the whole point behind all of this, is that if we're sitting slouched and we're not moving, then our body starts to feel the effects. So we feel it first on the physical level, but then we start to maybe feel it on the deeper physical level. We start to notice changes in our blood pressure, our circulation, stress levels are going up, tension levels are going up, and then maybe we start to notice it on the emotional level. Maybe you're not feeling as creative or inspired, or all of that comes from if your mood is lower, if the heart is not expressing its natural state of balance and joy. And the natural state of the heart is love and compassion and joy and empathy and gratitude. So it's really important that we are setting the stage for us to be able to access that by moving our body into strong alignment. And it's all coming from that balance, because if we're spending most of the day like this, slouched over the keyboard, and we're not balancing that by moving into the power poses, we're not moving back into strong alignment in our body, what will happen inevitably is that we will probably not be able to, it's hard for us to move back into strong alignment if we're not doing that regularly throughout the day. And if we're not accessing these states of the heart that are, more energized, uplifting, happy, because, if our work is so stressed out and we're not finding joy in it anymore, and it's showing up in our body, it's really this constant loop of feedback. And so I think it's really important for us to realize that our posture, and slouching specifically, can have an effect on our emotional state and the emotional state of the heart. And being as today's Valentine's Day, I thought, well, what a perfect day for us to talk about the heart chakra. That's like where we experience emotions and where we express emotions and where we're able to both give and receive love from the heart center. And so it's really important that it's open, right? But if we're in that collapsed position, it closes it off physically. And so energetically, it starts to send that message back that we're closing ourselves off. And so it's really, really important that we are constantly moving out of that position throughout the day. So I think this is just information to have. And let me know if you have any questions, because I'm really passionate about sharing this with you, because I want to, first and foremost, get you out of pain. So get rid of the neck and shoulder tension, get rid of the upper back ache, the lower back ache, wherever you feel the effects of slouching. But because I know that the body and the mind are so interconnected, both from a scientific and a spiritual point of view, I think it's really important that you have these tools and make the effort to move your body back into balance. So activate the muscles that are getting sleepy by sitting up, shoulders back, breathing deep, all of that, so that we can have that energetic and physical state of balance so that you can be feeling your best. Because yeah, get out of pain, that's so important. Get rid of the neck and shoulder tension, it's so important, and I totally validate that. But I know that you know that in order for you to show up as your best and brightest, we need to be, you know, in that state where we're taking care of ourselves. And that comes from taking little breaks throughout the day and activating the muscles, sitting up, moving, breathing deep, not just constantly in the go, 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 go of trying to get things done on our to-do list, but it's taking time to nourish yourself on a physical level, which then in turn nourishes you on the emotional level and the spiritual level and the mental level, because it's all connected. And that's the great thing about yoga, is that you can do that simultaneously. And this is also really near and dear to my heart, because when I learned that statistic about 48% more likely to experience depression, women who sit more than 6 hours of the day, I was like, whoa, I gotta get behind this, because I do not want people who are, you know, if they've dealt with that, to go back down that thread, or if they haven't dealt with that, to go anywhere near that, because I, for a long time in my life, really struggled with depression, and I know how hard it can be, and I want to do everything in my power to give you the tools, the knowledge to manage that if that's something that you are challenged by, or avoid it by being proactive with your body and with your health and your vitality. So that is how your posture can impact your mood, and your mood impacts your outlook, and your outlook impacts your behavior, and your behavior impacts your success. So follow the train. And that is your, let's see the comments here. Oh, Mickey said, I need to get off my sad booty. Yeah, exactly. Get up and move your booty. And physical exercise is so important on so many levels, right? Bone density, muscle mass, weight management, hormonal balance, mood, outlook, sleep. Physical exercise is really important. But doing half an hour of exercise every day and then sitting for 8, that's a very imbalanced ratio, right? So working out for half an hour and then sitting down on the booty for 8 hours is not enough. Like, working out is very important. Obviously, I need you to exercise. And it doesn't have to be like super hard to exercise, but just getting your heart rate elevated for 20, 30 minutes every day, or most days of the week, is super important for cardiovascular health, so the heart health, and for all the things I just mentioned. But we have to balance that, because if you're exercising for 20 minutes and then you're sitting for 8, no, that's not enough, right? We have to be taking little breaks throughout the day to take ourselves out of that slouched, sad posture into a strong alignment, so that we can feel our best now. So that is the science behind the slouch, today's edition. How posture affects your mood and how mood affects your life, right? We all know that. Like, of course we all want to feel happier, and of course we want to get rid of neck and shoulder tension. So the tools are there for the taking. It's just a matter of putting them to use once you realize how important it is for your longevity. Mickey says, agreed. I always see a difference on the days when I blow off my AM workout, right? It's so important. And that's the interesting thing as entrepreneurs and as women, and just in general, people like, okay, well, I'm up, I gotta go to work. You know, I'm up, oh, where's my phone? I gotta check what's happening on Facebook. And I understand that, and we do have an addiction to, you know, the outside world, and we're always interacting with that, and we have responsibilities, of course. But if we are not taking time for ourselves to connect inwards, to give ourselves attention, which is the ultimate example of self-love, is to pay attention to ourselves. If we're not doing that every day or on an ongoing basis, we are missing out on the most important relationship we have, and that's with ourselves. And in order for us to be able to give and receive love openly, we have to have that full cup. We have to nourish ourselves by taking time for ourselves every day. Whether it's 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 2 minutes here and there, it adds up, and it's really important, because that's, you know, so important for all of us. But especially as entrepreneurs, if you're not taking care of yourself, well, then how are you going to show up in your business? How are you going to show up in your work? How are you going to show up for your clients? Like, if your posture is like this and you're feeling sad and defeated, that's going to affect your whole day. That's going to affect your output. It's going to affect how people interact with you, because they look at you and they're like, oh, something's wrong, you know. But if we are taking action and we are, excuse me, coming back into physical alignment, coming back into emotional alignment with that balanced state of the heart, which is the natural state of the heart, love, compassion, joy, empathy, gratitude, all the stuff that we want to feel more of, and we do that through our yoga practice and we do that throughout the day, it's a game changer. But if we don't do that, then how are we going to feel? How are you going to feel when you don't exercise? You start to feel like, bleh. When you don't move or when you don't meditate or whatever it is that you like to do that feeds you, you feel different, right? And it's really about empowering ourselves and prioritizing ourselves in order to show up for ourselves so that we can then show up for our family. We can then show up for our business. We can then show up for our clients. Because if you're not able to do that, then everything is going to be affected, and your business will be affected, your relationships, all of that. So it's really the ultimate act of self-love is self-care. So, ooh, that's a good one. I should write that down. And so, yeah, give me a thumbs up if you agree with that's a good one. So that is my rant for today. Sorry, I went off tangent there, but over the last few days, we've been talking about the impact of slouching, and you feel it in your physical body. You know it affects your mood, your energy level, your tension level. And I've shown you over the last few days how it can affect your heart as an organ and as an emotional center. And so I think that's really important for us to know. So if you haven't been able to watch the last few videos, no big deal. Come on Monday. Monday, I'm going to sum it all up. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go a little deeper on each of those and give you some more information and some tools that you can put to use right away. And so that's Monday at 10 a.m. Hawaiian time, which is 12 p.m. Pacific. And that is the Healthy and Happy Hearts at Work. It's a little bit long to remember all of that. Healthy and Happy Hearts at Work training that we're going to do on Monday. And empowering yourself with tools to keep your heart healthy and happy, because this is the most important organ that you have. It's also the seat of your emotional intelligence. So we need to be constantly nurturing that relationship with that beautiful heart of yours to keep you healthy and happy now, and to keep you in a really even and balanced heart space so that you are feeling good. You have positive emotions, which then triggers, a balanced state in your body. So we'll go all over that on Monday again. But yeah, if you want to go back and watch the videos, you can. But if you can join me on Monday, I'm going to go over it all and you'll have a deeper understanding. So empowering yourself with tools for self-care and ultimately self-love. Why not? You deserve it. I know you do. And I know that you feel better when you put them to use. So let's do it. So thank you everybody for being here. Does anybody have any questions before we go on? And let me know if you do. And if not, pop them in the comments. And if you know anybody that you think would benefit from this training, please feel free to invite them. I would love to have them join us for that, because I think it's really important that everybody has these tools. So, we're spending more and more time using a device, and technology is not going anywhere. And the predictions of what will happen if we just continue to slouch over our keyboard all day long are not good. They're not good. Permanently bent back, swelling in the legs, decreased muscle mass in the legs, weight gain, heart problems, pre-diabetes, all the things that come from being sedentary, because we are we're just parked on our duffs all day working on the computer, and it's changing us. And so I know that you are motivated to feel good now, and you're motivated to have a long and happy and beautiful life and have more energy. So it's on you. But I'm here to give you the tools and putting them to use so that we feel good now and for years to come. So thanks for being here, everybody, and I will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Day, and I love each and every one of you, and I'm grateful for you all. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.